What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing good today. So, y'all, it is snowing here. It started snowing like earlier today here in South Carolina, and it's kind of weird, I guess, to get snow where I'm at. It's been probably years. I don't know. I think it's been like 5 or 6 years since they have had snow down here, and where my parents live, which is up north from here, they are getting a lot of snow. And up there, growing up there, we used to get snow just like every year. So, I'm kind of just I keep looking out the window because everything is so white, and I haven't seen this in so long, and it's beautiful to look at. But anyways, y'all, since I've been sitting around the house and I really haven't had that much to do, I've kind of been thinking about what I want to talk about on my next video. And, you know, I think I want to talk about a situation that happened to me. I've made a video about it before, and that is about my divorce. Anybody that has ever been through a divorce, for the most part, knows that it's a very hurtful process, and it takes time for the divorce to get finalized and in order for you to emotionally get through it. My marriage started out, y'all, it started out wonderful. We were just two peas in a pod. We were so in love with each other, and, we moved in together, and we did a long distance relationship, y'all. I was in South Carolina, and he was in Missouri. We would kind of meet here and there when we could, but we talked on the phone every day. And finally just got to the point that we're like, we need to move in together. So I left my job. I sold my house. I was living by myself then, and I just took my clothes and my car and everything else I sold, and I went to Missouri to live with him. And when I got there, y'all, I was in love with it. I had the best time of my life. The time that I was out there has been the best time of my life so far, and the best memories. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And me and him, we got along so good. That relationship, I do not regret one bit, because it really showed me that it is possible to find true love. And I was so happy just in the position that I was in. Things began to progress as we lived together. We finally went and we were living in a bedroom in an apartment with his roommates, and we'd only did that for a few months. And then we finally moved into an apartment and then to a townhome. And then before we split up, we were looking into buying our first house. And, I look back to when, at the very end of things, we were living in St. Louis, Missouri. And when we met and we moved in together, we were living in Springfield, Missouri. But we decided to move to St. Louis. His family was a little bit south of there, and so he could be closer to them. And my time in St. Louis was amazing. I was just so happy there. There was so much to do, because I was a little bitty country boy, finally in the middle of a big city, and it was quite the experience. And and during that time, I think a lot of he's claimed that he was unhappy whenever we split. And I could feel little hints of it, which I'm not sure why he was unhappy, because he would never express to me anything that was wrong. He would just kind of seem off, or kind of like in a bad mood. And, and I truly believe that is where a lot of the reason why we got divorced, it stems from that, is because of lack of communication. I am not perfect. I had my faults in that relationship. I drank, more than I should sometimes. I never went out and partied. I would just sit home and drink. And yes, I would get drunk sometimes. And, I had my moments where I would get mad and have a temper and, say something hateful, but, not too often. But, look at the way that he kind of held everything in. And that was really the biggest downfall of our relationship, was him not being able to speak up. He could never speak up to anybody. It was not just me. We actually also worked together, and we worked great together. We never had a single problem living and working together. And he was like that at work too. He could not speak up to his superiors, his co-workers. He would just do everything he was told and act like he was okay with it. He just did not ever want to display any type of like negative emotion or anger or anything. And he was the same way with me. And he would just put on a fake smile and act like everything was okay, when deep down he was not happy. And I look, if he would have let me know that he was unhappy with certain things that I was doing, or certain things that were going on between us, I really would have done what I could to have fixed it. And that's what sucks about that marriage ending, is because I never got the opportunity to do that. He just reached a level of unhappiness that it's like one night he just broke out of nowhere, out of the blue. It was so sudden and strange. I had come home from work, and he was already at home. And as soon as that night we had been planning on watching a movie. I was going home to make supper. We had my cat, and we had our birds, and I had my fish tank, and had a house full of plants. That was like our little family. And so I went in, and he was sitting on the couch, and as soon as I shut the door behind me, he said, "I need to talk to you." And I was like, oh Lord. I could tell something was weird about it too, because he never said that. He never said stuff like that. And I sat down, and he told me he was unhappy, and that he was going to leave, and he was going to stay with his cousin in St. Louis, who was just a few miles up the road. And at first I didn't speak. I just sat there, just unable to process what I heard. And then, I started crying. I got very upset, very, very upset, because it's almost like I knew in the back of my mind that this was it. Like, I don't know why. That's so weird. We hardly ever had fights, but something told me that I will never see him again. And, there was some truth to that, because after that night, he left. He never came back. He said that he was done. And it was hard because, I had to go all the way back to South Carolina, because I had nobody in Missouri, in that city. His family was not in the city. They were way down there. And, I had some friends, but I had no family. He had all his family there. So I had to I had to quit my job that I loved. I was very good friends with my coworkers. I had to quit my job, and at that time we worked for the same company, just not in the same place. So I quit there. I left there. I had to leave all my stuff behind in my townhome, which I loved my townhome so much. I just took some clothes and my car, and that's it, and drove the 13 hours home to South Carolina. And we talked a little bit, like about a week later. It's weird because he would not talk to me. He would not talk to me. I don't know why, but he just did not want to talk to me. And I just, that just killed me, because it's like we went from lovers to strangers very, very quickly. And, when I got back to South Carolina, I just, I was so lonely, because, living a distance that far, and plus it was a money thing. I did not have the money to bring back all that furniture. I had no place where I was living with my parents for any of my animals, my plants, nothing. I left everything behind and got nothing but my clothes. And, we both worked full-time jobs. We both filled up that apartment with furniture, with a lot of different stuff. And I didn't, I couldn't bring any of it with me. I had to completely start over. And I was very devastated. I started drinking a lot, drinking really bad. Kind of got in and out of some flings that were toxic just because I was lonely. And I was just in a terrible state of mind. Very, very bad. And, looking back at that time, divorce is not something, I know some people have these divorce parties where they're like happy they're getting divorced. And, I think that's wonderful. Like, I wish I could have looked at it like that and saved myself a lot of time, trouble, and heartache. Because I sat around every day and couldn't stop crying, for whatever reason. And, when you're grieving like that, everything reminds you of the person. Like, every sight, sound, smell, you think of your ex-spouse, and it's almost like they have died, and you're grieving the death of somebody, because you're never, especially with him being so far away, I knew I'd never see him again. So, guys, anybody that's going through a divorce, I feel for you wholeheartedly, whether it's a straight or gay marriage. I don't care. It is terrible, and emotionally it will destroy you if you let it. I look back at that period of my life, and that was probably one of my ultimate lows, because not only was I going through the divorce, I went through a bad relapse with alcohol. I ended up 3 or 4 times in the detox center, wrecked my car multiple times, and it all stemmed from, all that happening. It really screwed me up in the head for a while, because I didn't know what to do with myself. It's like the rug was pulled out from under my feet, and my whole life changed. But it was up to me, y'all. I had to get over that. It was either, adapt or, let this eat you alive and you just let yourself die inside. And finally, I said enough is enough. I quit drinking. I gathered myself up. I put myself back out there in the dating world. And, things really worked out well for me. I learned a lot from that marriage. At first, y'all, I wished I would have never got married to him, like after it all happened, because I would sit and think I wouldn't be going through this right now, or because it was a waste of time because it didn't work out. Not at all. Now I'm sitting here, I think about it. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I went through that, because it made me so much stronger of a person. It made me smarter. It made me, I guess, a better husband for my next marriage. Because yes, me and him were married, of course. I don't know if I ever said that in any of this video, but yes, we got married a couple years after we were together. But divorce is just one of those things that there's a lot of people don't believe in marriage. But I actually like it. I like the idea of marriage. I always have. I love being a husband too. I love being married. I had the best time. A lot of people don't feel like they're tied down, but I don't feel tied down like that. I flourish, and I love like having someone there to come home to that you're like best friends with. It's the most wonderful thing ever. So guys, I just wanted to get in and tell that story just in case any of y'all are going through anything like that. Someone who is, just offer little words of advice, encouragement, and just kind of, show everybody a little love. So guys, I really appreciate y'all watching this. I will be back shortly with another video. I hope y'all are all safe where you are, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.